Hey guys, Dan here, and I'm with Jan from Broken Rules.
Hello.
I'm currently in Vienna as I come down for the CEGC conference where I was doing a talk and showing our new game Cube. We're currently in the Broken Rules studio in the heart of Vienna, which is awesome. So we're going to be talking about how we met and basically your design decisions on Broken Rules. And
yeah, and like how the design process in Broken Rules evolved since we started, and yeah, since we like grew a little bigger and got smaller again. So yeah.
So we met in 2011 at PAX Prime. That was cool.
Crazy times.
Yeah. I was showing Cube.
Yeah, and we were basically showing like the first prototype or like the first build of Chasing Aurora, which was like a multiplayer game for the Wii U. And yeah, that's basically where we met.
What was in that build then? Like,
I think it didn't even run on the Wii U back then. We had like this fun multiplayer mode where every player played a bird and you flew around the area. And your main goal was to snatch an item from the other birds and like fly away with it. Like a kind of similar mechanic than Micro Machines. So you like snatched the item, you got the camera with it, and had to throw the other people's off. So the other people off from the screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically do that a few times, and then you would win. And
amazing.
Yeah, it was like on the we showed it on the Mac or on the PC back then. So
yeah.
The Wii U wasn't even on the radar back then.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I remember you had like a nice couch and everyone could play. And was the response really good for that?
Yeah, most of the people really liked it. We also like picked random people like walk by and like, do you want to play around? And most people didn't like know what to expect from the game. So, but once they played, they really liked it, and most of them got really into it. So
okay.
The feedback was positive, and yeah, it was cool.
Amazing. Oh, that's good fun. It's always good to showcase at the events.
The people are like, like some of them were really into the game and shouting and screaming. And, like people stopped by and like, oh, what's happening?
What are the games that you've made to date?
The first game, actually, our debut game was And Yet It Moves. It started off as a student project. It was basically like the final project of our bachelor thesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we did a like 2-level prototype of And Yet It Moves. We're nominated at the IGF student showcase back then,
that's awesome.
And that's kind of where things took off. So we thought like, yeah, people liked it, and were asking about the full version, and we were thinking a little bit about it ourselves. We basically decided to do that, and actually managed to get some funding from the city of Vienna, which is awesome. Then founded the company later, short before we released it. First distributed it on our own platform and on Steam. Like we didn't know what to expect, so we just like sent them an email with like a short pitch of the game. And yeah, it worked out for us back then. I think it was a lot easier to get on Steam back in the days. That's like 2009 we're speaking about. So
okay.
The nomination was 2007. We worked on it for like 3 years.
Wow.
Like in spare time for a long time. Like the last 9 months, basically we sat together and like really finished the game and polished it. So,
oh, amazing!
Yeah,
that's really cool. So
that's like the first part I wanted to talk about, like the design process. Like when we started, we basically met once in a while. But most of the development happened back at our homes, so each of us sat in front of their computer. If it was necessary, we did Skype calls or had an email conversation. And yeah, it was really difficult to coordinate. So I mean, some things were really like easy to set up, and like it was clear, you do that, I'll do this.
Yeah. But
then there were some design decisions, and it was difficult to like iterate on that via Skype, because it was difficult to describe things. And yeah, once you could show it to someone, and like you could immediately understand what the problem was.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And back then it really helped when we moved to a place together. Like we got like this office space we could use for free for a few months.
That's brilliant.
And it was the first time where we really felt like, yeah, that's how we should work. That's how it.
So easy to like communicate.
Like sit next to each other, see what the other one's doing. Like if you can't get along with something, you're like, hey, can you help me with that? And like do a little bit of pair programming.
Yeah.
or just get instant feedback on some feature you implemented, and that really helped. Yeah.
It's so easier than disturbing someone on Skype and then
Yeah, and
in the middle of something.
and someone is not online, you don't know, is he gone for a coffee, or or did his internet connection break, or did he die? No, it's just,
Hopefully not.
no, it's just, you can tell what happened on the other hand. Except you wrote it down, of course, but you get the idea.
That's it, and now you've got this awesome studio behind us.
Yeah, it was a long,
really cool.
a long history. Like we had 2 other office spaces. Like the first one I mentioned that we could use for free.
Yes.
But yeah, we basically stayed in the same area because we already were in the building. It's like a collection of museums, and it's called the Museum Squatter in Vienna, which is really central. What is quite nice. So yeah, we got in touch with this other woman who they had a huge office space and had this room they didn't really need, so they searched someone that they could sub-rent it to.
Okay.
And yeah, we went with that for a while. But yeah, back then there was a time when we expanded from 3 people to 5 with Clemens and Martin,
Right.
who came to the team at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was getting kind of crowded back there. And we had an intern also, so it was just 3 tables filled with all our computers. We luckily got this place actually, which is quite large.
In the heart of Vienna. It's very
in the heart
nice.
of Vienna, for quite easy to reach for everyone, which is important.
You worked on Chasing Aurora and then Secrets of Raycon.
Yeah, the first game was in Yet It Moves, then Chasing Aurora, that was the one we showcased at PAX 2011.
Yeah.
And also the year after, I think. Yeah, also the year after. And after that we worked on Secrets of Raycon, or basically around that. Because we started with a single player game, and then we had this multiplayer idea. At some point it got too big, so we separated those 2 games, in Chasing Aurora, released it on the Wii U. It was a release title back then, which was an awesome experience, but also quite stressful. Yeah. And then we basically continued with the single player idea, where you do some, it's like an open world game, you do some exploration, have to find out why you're here, what you have to do, or what you want to do also.
Okay.
So it leaves most of the decisions to you, how you want to do a certain thing. You obviously had one goal that was the end of the game, but how to get there is you had a lot of things that you could do in a different ways.
Sure. Okay.
And that was Secrets of Raycon that released on Steam in April last year, 2014.
Okay.
And yeah, after a short alpha access period, early access.
Right. And what was your experience with early access? 'Cause I know a lot of people do that now.
Yeah, I mean, for us it was a way to kind of bridge a time where we had only a little money left. So it was not the optimal game to do in early access, to be honest. But on the other hand, it worked quite well. So we got an awesome feedback back from the community. We were able to put something of that back in the game.
Amazing.
As I said, it was only a short period, so we could not drastically change all the game mechanics and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, it was basically really good feedback, and also you could do early bug fixing. So I remember the releases of the other 2 games, the final release, they have been way more stressful.
Yeah.
But the final release of Secrets of Raycon was more or less let's switch the button now. So it was not that much that of a big deal. So going early access was probably more stressful back then, because is it the right time, or but yeah, in the end it was still a good experience and we got great feedback. But yeah, it was also tricky to sell the game as a new game, because everyone knew what it's about, and it's not a game that you play over and over again. So you probably have to be aware of that. If you go do a public version everyone can buy already and download, if it's not the right game for that. I mean, we kind of knew that, but we needed to bridge the gap of financing.
Yes,
to finance the last phase, because we really wanted to polish the game and make it look nice, and there were a few small features missing, and so we couldn't just say, okay, that's the game. It needed some polish time, and that's some polishing time.
Yeah,
That's where we got that.
Yeah, so let's talk about your design process now and the amount of people.
Yeah, as I said, we started off the company with like 3 people, and it worked out quite well for us. So we always wanted to have like an equal say in what the design and the level design and the game design should be like.
Sure.
So it worked quite well. I mean, obviously there were some discussions when we discussed about some details, but at the end we always had like an outcome that we were like satisfied with, and we thought was the best that could come out of our 3 heads, basically. But yeah, then we expanded the team to 5 people, and we tried to like keep that kind of tradition. Like everyone has an equal say. All of us were interested in doing game design as well, so also were some small misunderstandings, and afterwards you like went, I meant the same thing, but why did you say it that way? And so, yeah, it was difficult to keep up with the design process with 5 people.
Sure.
And for Chasing Aurora, we even have been like 8 people for a small amount of time, and there was even I won't even mention how that was. But yeah, at the end, we found a way that how it worked for us, and that was basically like, I mean, the game was the basic idea was worked out way better at that time. So there were only like detailed decisions to make, like how should the health system work? What happens when you die? Does the game reset completely, or do you have lives, or whatever? And for that we basically formed like small design teams. So it was usually 2 or 3 people maximum, and we like sat together, made a few like sketches and discussed things. Probably even made like as a quick prototype, and then showed it to the other guys. So basically everyone could like say, I find that nice, or wouldn't it be awesome to have this? And basically it turned out that was like the best way, because most of the time the others were really like, yeah, good, nice job, cool. Couldn't have done it better, but if you like sit together, you would not reach that point so easy. So that really helped, like split up the team, make decisions, and come back and kind of present it to the team, or just like put it in the game and see what the people, like the other guys, say like the next day. So yeah.
No, that sounds like the best thing. I think it's always tough to do that. We had a similar situation with Cube. You know, we'd two of us would like one idea, and then the other guy would be like, no, it's not. I can't feel it. So it sounds like you had a good way around that process. So awesome.
Also, like one of the things we did was like splitting up the main roles, because when you started the project, we weren't quite sure we didn't define we didn't have defined roles for each one. So like at the end, Peter was like the core guy for like the technical things and for game design, and so on. Yeah, Martin did a lot of the marketing and community work. And so every one of us had like their main role, and he also would have like the right to say, I want to do it like this, and that's the final word. It rarely, I think it only happened once or twice, if even that, but that's another way like to make decisions easier.
That's for sure. I think it's hard when everyone's doing a bit of everything and crossing, like overlapping each other's work.
When you have like a lot of overlapping manpower, it's like somewhere leading nowhere. So it's good that you naturally got organised within the company. And it took us some time to realise that, but in the end it worked out quite well, and you probably should do that at the beginning of a project, obviously. But
I think it's also because you also went from being a student to in indie, so you're kind of learning everything as you're going along.
Exactly. So no one of us did like we have an experience in a big studio. Like how it was organised there. We learned most of the time. We learned by doing it ourselves, or going to GDC talks or other conferences. That helped a lot too.
Sounds good. Cool. Well, thanks, man. That's great.
Thanks for talking, and hopefully see you soon around, or I'll probably visit you in London one day.
That'd be great. Or some other event, maybe GDC or
definitely
PAX, whatever.
Let's catch up.
Cool. Cheers, man.
All right.
See you.
Have a nice time. Boy.